So hello and welcome to today's mod showcase video. So a few years ago, all the way back in 2019, a first person mod was made for Buddy, which was made by DeBoss, or Derpy, and while it was good, it was not without its problems. Namely the fact it was very stiff to control with, and to quote myself, it was like playing Call of Duty on the lowest sensitivity possible. And the fact you were completely stuck in first person until you uninstalled the mod. You couldn't toggle it, and you couldn't combine it with the likes of other mods either. That and also the mod sometimes bugged out and disabled itself. Well, it's now been over 5 years and Buddy modder RBSID, RBSID or however you pronounce the name, has released their rendition of the mod alongside a few other tweaks and add-ons which massively improve on the original, which you may notice in the video but I'll cover later. So the mod premise, of course, is pretty much the exact same. It adds a first person mode. But there are many improvements to this one. First of all, because the mod is now made with Derpy Script Loader, it is now toggleable. So you can enable it or disable it by pressing F on the keyboard. You'll also notice that now the camera is much more in line with what you'd expect to see in a first person shooter, and it feels much more natural than it did in the 2019 version. And since it's toggleable, you can enable it whenever you want, just like you would in GTA 5 or Red Dead 2. However, there is one thing that might turn a lot of people away from the mod, and that is, as of making this video, the camera only works with a mouse. So this is a rather abrupt kind of cut, but as it turns out, just as I uploaded the original video, an update was put out for the mod which does actually fix the camera input with a controller. So yeah, you can just use a controller as you would, no need for the mouse, so disregard what I just said. And a bit like the original, if you do mess around with various FOV mods, it could really mess with clipping. But for the most part, I find that clipping wasn't as bad as it was in the 2019 version. Another completely massive improvement is excluding rendered cutscenes, the first person mode stays completely locked in at all times. So you know those mini scenes you get mid mission which usually point you to the next objective? Well, now they stay fixed to Jimmy's head, and even they go on in first person, which funnily enough you didn't even get in GTA 5 or Red Dead 2. It can even sometimes give you a unique perspective on some mission scenes, like the one you're seeing on screen now with busting in and going to Russell's house. Now as said, the mod does not disable itself at all. In the original version, there was a problem where the original mod did disable itself after being busted or starting a new save. Not anymore. As soon as you load up a new save, you might be back in third person, but you tap F and you're back in first person again. And every single animation in the game is now done completely in first person. That even includes the likes of fighting, buddying, getting beam colas, wedging, whatever. All of it is now completely in first person, much like it would be if, I assume, Rockstar would ever make Buddy 2. Well, that's also assuming they add a first person mode to that. Even turning up to class and finishing it, it still stays there. It's a very well crafted mod, I must say. Of course, as said, there are clipping problems, and that's most notable on the skateboard. You can see for yourself it's, yeah, not exactly the most immersive mod. I wonder if using a lower FOV might fix it, but I'm unsure. But either way, it's clear Buddy was never intended to be played with a first person perspective, so I feel like you can probably overlook quite a few of these clippings or whatever. It also comes in very handy on bikes, when you can look behind you and see just how far behind you're being chased from. And this is the second mod which I'd like to showcase, which is an optional mod called Detection Meter, which adds in a continuously updating arrow that rotates across your screen to point out where possible enemies are located. This kind of stuff is often seen in stealth games, I believe, and this works both in free mode and missions as well. In free mode, its colour is determined by your trouble meter. Like white means you might be chased by a prefect or police officer but they haven't spotted you yet, yellow and orange means they are giving chase to you, and red of course is the highest. In missions it acts the same but with any possible enemies in stealth. Now some might say this mod might seem a bit useless because you have the HUD and it tells you where the enemies are coming from anyway, but if you have a mod that disables the HUD, this may come in useful. But to be honest, I feel like both of these mods give Buddy a much more refreshing way of playing. I'm sticking with my opinion of the original review from 5 years ago. These mods really do give Buddy a more refreshing way to play, and since this is done with Derpy Script Loader, I feel like it's much more funner now than it was back then. You can just throw the files into the scripts folder and done. You don't have to mess around with scripts.img or anything else, and you can mix and match mods up as you want. And to uninstall it you can just do the same, or you can just like press F and just forget about it. And if you're wondering what that love heart on screen was, it's actually found inside Derpy Script Loader in the example scripts folder. It's a custom health bar. It's not a part of this mod and I was just messing around with it. But yeah, links to these will be in the description below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.